Humongous Entertainment, the pinnacle of educational point-and-click adventures. It's highly likely that you've played or at least seen one of these games at some point, and I've touched upon this company briefly in the past with Blue's Birthday Adventure, but I've never gotten into their more unique cast of characters. That is until this year. For whatever reason, over on my Twitch, I decided to play through all of their mainline games live. Genuinely, I'm not sure why, it just kind of happened on a whim. And over the period of a few months, I played through all of the big names. Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, Put Put, even Fatty Bear. However, I decided to ask all of you which one you'd like to see me talk about on the community tab a little while back. And the answer was a resounding Spy Fox. You've probably seen a video on this game already. A whole bunch of my pointy-clicky contemporaries have already talked about the antics of this foxy agent. But since we haven't talked about Humongous Entertainment themselves here before, let's do a little bit of history. Now, I talk about Ron Gilbert quite a bit on this channel, mainly because I think the guy's a genius who understood the adventure game genre better than anyone else. And if Return to Monkey Island is anything to go by, he still got it. Anyhow, Ron had seen a 6-year-old playing a Monkey Island game. And despite not being able to read all of the words on screen, this kid understood how to play and understood which buttons did what. And that sparked something. Ron thought there was potential for something interesting there, point-and-click specifically targeted at younger kids. With the advent of voice acting in adventure games as well, it seemed like a perfect opportunity, since they wouldn't just have to read dialogue anymore. So after finishing work on Monkey Island 2, Ron left Lucasfilm Games and teamed up with Shelley Day, who was a producer for the company at the time. Together, they founded Humongous Entertainment, a name suggested by Tim Schafer, by the way. A company that became synonymous with children's edutainment adventures. A lot of the games in this genre at the time were targeted mostly at adults or older kids, and these had protagonists lying, stealing, and cheating their way through the game. The games at Humongous had a different, more wholesome aim. Protagonists would be borrowing items rather than taking them without permission, and generally the world would just be a little bit friendlier. And also covered in clickables. So many clickables. These games were the staple of many a childhood in the 90s, and while the company somewhat died out in the early 2000s, the games still have a strong fan base. Hell, we've even seen Switch releases of a whole bunch of them lately. They're not forgotten by any stretch of the imagination, so that's Humongous. Now, let's revisit one of the classics, Spy Fox in Dry Cereal. The first Spy Fox game was released in 1997, and this was the first of 3 major adventures for this character. As the name suggests, you play as a fox who is a spy. And his name?
The name is Fox. Spy Fox.
Yeah, I think it's both his name and his occupation. Also, yes, I'll be using the British dub of the game for this video. You got a problem with that, mate? I'm sorry. Spy Fox in Dry Cereal begins by detailing the plan of William the Kid, the villain of this story. He's a goat.
Got any milk? Not anymore.
His devious plan is to rid the world of dairy milk, replacing it with a goat milk alternative. As far as evil villain plans go, it's a little bit humdrum, but I suppose you can't push children's entertainment too far. Besides, this game does include
the milky weapon of destruction.
So, you know, I think that kind of makes up for it. And hey,
The idea of eating dry breakfast cereal is pretty hard to swallow.
Yes, it is.
Spy Fox receives this assignment from Monkeypenny, whose name is a play on Moneypenny from the James Bond series, and he promptly makes his way down to Acidophilus, Greece to get on the case. This short intro gets you used to the mechanics of the Spy Fox games. It's not terribly complex, I mean this is a point and click for children, but it does have its own little quirks. First of all, we need to liaise with the command center found by entering the phone number given to Spy Fox in his fortune cookie. And from that, you can learn that the inventory is used by moving your mouse to the bottom of the screen. You never have that many items, so there aren't that many slots needed. Next up is the gadgets.
Because a spy without a gadget is like a shopping trolley without a broken wheel.
How apt.
Monkeypenny hands Fox a laser toothbrush designed to cut through solid steel. This gets put in our gadget compartment on the interface. We'll learn a bit more about how this factors in when Professor Quack, the slightly unhinged creator of these devices, turns up. Although right now we're learning that Spy Fox enjoys wordplay and rhyming. Oh boy, there's a lot of that.
If I had the knack, I'd take a crack at giving this empty distributing machine a whack and a smack. But I suppose Quack would give me some flack when he gets back to this shack.
Thank you, Spy Fox. For now, this intro has the player locating Mr. Udderly, the guy in charge of cow's milk. So is this like an elected position, or is it more like a monarchy? I'm asking too many questions, aren't I? He's apparently down at the feta factory, which is just down this pier. Using the toothbrush, we can cut our way in and locate the gentleman in need. In fact, we've been given a handy photo of his derriere with which to identify him. Looks like a perfect match. I'd recognize those cheeks anywhere. And currently, those cheeks are dangling above a dangerous piranha-based situation, one which luckily has a thermostat built in. It isn't difficult to work out the best way to put them on ice.
Now I need to get you to our mobile command center for a debriefing.
Good. I need to change my trousers.
Oh god, that is an awful joke. I have to commend it. Udderly gives us Skinny on his kidnapping and William the Kid's plan to use our aforementioned milky weapon of destruction to commit acts of domestic terrorism and frame the cows for it so that people drink goat milk. So we have a pretty clear goal from the get-go, to disarm that weapon. And it just so happens that Udderly has the launch codes on his person, or rather in his person. We'll worry about that when the time is right.
I find the whole thing a little hard to swallow.
I did warn you about the wordplay. Yeah, this series is very pun-heavy. Very. They're fun, but a lot are really groan-worthy in a fun dad joke kind of way. From now on, the game opens up and lets you explore at your own pace. But there are actually two separate paths in this game. But fear not, I have played through both of these for your pleasure, so let's get to it. Before we embark on our first journey, Professor Quack has arrived at the command center, so we can finally talk gadgets. The Professor builds these for Spy Fox's use, and they're deployed via this vending machine here. Click on the invention to get a lowdown on the gadget, and the button to get it out of the machine. There are several of them in here, such as the X-ray gum, the night vision shoe, and a few others, all of which might come in handy throughout the game. We'll discuss them as they come up. You can't take them all at once though. The gadget compartment only has so much space, so it's best to keep them all in mind whenever you run into a problem. For instance, our cow friend has swallowed the launch codes of the milky weapon, but the X-ray gum helps us see inside his various stomachs to locate our answer. Look at that. Also, Quack eats the blueprints after explaining an invention. I wasn't sure when to bring that up, but it is a thing.
A duck needs his fibre.
I don't think you should be doing that. It can't be healthy. But hey, let's go see what sunny Greece has to offer. There aren't a huge amount of areas to explore compared to other adventure games, but we do have a few things. One of which is a trinket salesman who has an incredibly sunny disposition.
How may I be of service to you? Oh, honourable visitor to this our dear island home.
This man is clearly just, loving life. There's also a cantina down here featuring the best character in the series, Bear Bear.
Hello, sweetheart. Welcome to the cantina. I'm Bear Bear. If there's anything you want, sugar, like, for example, sugar, you just let me know, alright?
Thanks, Bear.
I love her so much. She has the greatest line delivery in the UK dub. There's also a reptilian musician here, but he's not really relevant to this particular path, so we'll just let him be for now.
Here's one that goes out to all you white tux-wearing spies.
The character who is relevant to this path, though, is Artimice J. Big Pig. This porcine patron sat in a booth.
Greetings. Interested in a little game of Go Fish, Mr.
Fox. Spy Fox. I've been known to play Go Fish from time to time.
Big Pig loves to play Go Fish, with trinket as the buy-in price. We'll have to keep that in mind. The pier now has a couple of boats on it as well, one large cruise liner and a small yacht. The smaller boat belongs to James T. Drydock, an obvious homage to James T. Kirk, although that's more obvious in the American dub.
Is this rickety old boat of yours seaworthy?
Seaworthy? Seaworthy? Of course she's seaworthy. The question is not whether she's seaworthy, matey, but rather whether you're worthy of the sea.
I see.
The UK version kinda misses the reference and goes for a generic pirate voice. Oh well.
Is this rickety old boat of yours seaworthy?
Seaworthy? Seaworthy? Of course she's seaworthy. The question is not whether she's seaworthy, matey, but rather whether you're worthy of the sea.
I see.
He refuses to sail anywhere until he gets his lucky charm back, a trinket which he lost in a game of Go Fish to, you guessed it, Artimice J, Big Pig. If we can get it back, we'll be able to go sailing. But we don't have much reason to do that just yet. We'll need to do some reconnaissance work first. So the bigger boat is our goal. Alas, unfortunately, there's the bane of many an adventure game protagonist right here. A regular guy guarding the entrance. We'll be needing an invitation to get up onto the ship, as this snooty fella suggests.
No one, but no one, is allowed on board the SS Deadweight without a gold-edged, wax-sealed, expensively embossed, handwritten invitation.
But this does introduce us to another mechanic from the Spy Fox games, which I think is really neat. When you run into a specific problem like this one, you'll be given a conversation topic, with which to ask various people about, and they'll point you in the right direction. Well, they will most of the time, some of them aren't tremendously helpful.
I don't know anything about that, but do you want to see my tattoo?
Well then. Either way, it streamlines the dialogue system significantly, perfect for younger audiences. And luckily, when you ask the trinket salesman about it, he tells Spy Fox that he actually has an invitation himself. And this puzzle is such an excellent display of how Humongous Entertainment's puzzle design philosophy differs from, say, the Monkey Island games. Guybrush Threepwood would find a way to steal the invitation, but that's not the way these games go. Thievery is strictly prohibited.
I can't just take the little fellow's invite. He's so looking forward to that party. All I need is a copy of it.
And with Spy Fox, you have this wide array of gadgets to use, remember? One of which is the Spy Putty, which can copy objects. I don't know exactly how that works, but when the salesman shows off his invitation, you can simply ask him to fetch an item from the back and then copy the invitation while he's not looking. Which is only slightly less unethical than outright stealing it. It's a really good puzzle though, it's simple and logical to figure out and it feels appropriate to the theme of the game. And it doesn't encourage children to steal things. A win-win-win. And boy does it feel good to slap this invitation in the face of that doorman.
The nerve of some people. You think they would... Let me see that. Signed, Russian Blue.
And after a brief catch-up with Monkeypenny, we're free to explore the ship, owned by the beautiful femme fatale feline Russian Blue.
Hello, you must be...
Russian Blue, noted socialite and attractive owner of the SS Deadweight.
She only plays a small part in this path, but she is a known associate of William the Kid, so we'll need to see where this cruise liner goes. Also, recognize the music being played here? It's actually from Pajama Sam, another Humongous Entertainment title. I do love how self-referential these little games all are, it's really sweet. With a little bit of snooping, you can uncover this chameleon sailor acting as a watchman for the ship. What's really neat about this guy as well is that in the UK dub, he actually has a Welsh accent. It's not often you hear a character with a strong Welsh accent in a video game.
This is the bridge. The head's down below. Actually, I need to go pretty bad too. But of course, I'm not allowed to leave my post.
Still, we're given this watchman as a topic of conversation so we can learn more about him and his habits. He's waiting for the next watchman to come and relieve him from his shift, but the time he gives is pretty unhelpful.
The shift's over at one cockerel's call, a drum roll, and a shop till.
So we'll need to know a little bit more. Below deck on this ship is this room as well, which contains the internal clock of the boat, which I'm sure will come in handy. And a frog diving suit. By that I mean a diving suit which takes the form of a frog. Unclear why, but we'll take it. Returning to the canteen, we can ask Bear about the watchman.
What do you know about this watchman from the SS Deadweight?
Oh, that Sal comes in here every day straight from work.
What time is that?
He shows up here 17 minutes after the start of happy hour.
17 minutes after the start of happy hour. Well, there's a sign for when happy hour starts just outside. So that'll be 7:17 that we need. We can change the internal clock to that on the ship, but we'll still need to play the role of the watchman's replacement.
I could leave now if only my replacement was here. Unless you're the chap.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I am your replacement. Consider yourself replaced.
How can you be my relief if you're not wearing a sailor hat?
Right, what was I thinking?
What were you thinking, Spy Fox? Of course you need a sailor hat. Luckily, the trinket salesman has one you can buy with the drachmas given to you at the beginning of the game. For those of you not aware, drachmas were the currency of Greece before the euro replaced them in 2002. Which puts this game in a little time capsule. I do quite like it. With our fox behatted and the watchman be gone, we can look at where they've been on this large cargo ship. And there's a marker at the coordinates 2020. I'd say a good year, but it very much wasn't. Now that we have a clear location to go, we'll need to hire Drydog's boat. But you'll remember we still need his lucky charm. So it's time to get gambling. There's a jar of trinkets available from the salesman which we'll be using as a buy-in. So we meet again, Mr. Big Pig. I'm ready to play some cards.
That's a lovely trinket you have there, sir. I'll play with this one.
This might be genuinely one of the most stressful parts of the game. It's more of a harrowing card game experience than anything Inscription has to offer. Only the most hardcore of gamers play Go Fish and Spy Fox 1.
A match made in heaven, sir. Got any twos?
Go Fish.
Ah, how delightful. That gives me a suit, sir.
There are so many times when Big Pig will take the cards you need right off you, or just go on a streak leaving you helpless. The man's a menace to society. He's sweating, and I am too. Card games are very often based on random chance, but at least with Go Fish you can try and remember which cards to go for, so there's a semblance of a strategy, but a lot of the time, you're just kind of hoping for the best. With enough back and forth, you can eventually win the lucky charm. I sincerely hope Drydog appreciates the blood, sweat and tears it took. But now we can be taken to 2020, the location we tracked down.
Interesting. A pool of white water. I've never seen white water like this before.
Don't say anything in the comments. Please, don't say anything. At this point, Fox can use his frog suit to dive down below and see the milk pipes are flowing. We'll just need to follow them. Unfortunately, Kate has assigned some guards to patrol the area, but fortunately they're easily removed by utilizing nearby fishing hooks. The pipes themselves lead to a large door, presumably into Kid's fortress. But this solid steel door needs breaching first. So what do we have to work with? Well, there's this sunken submarine, which conveniently is equipped with the chosen weapon of any Eldritch Ranger, the rocket launcher. We just need to fix up the wiring first. It's a pretty simple logic puzzle here. Just match up the circuit board with the wires and we're in business. And we can rocket our way to success.
I suppose that guided missile was misguided.
There's one more puzzle past here before we can actually enter the fortress, which requires a specific device. Monkeypenny tells Fox to meet with another agent, Marta Harry, haha, to get this device, and the only hint for her location is...
that she's underwater and you'll treasure her disguise.
Very subtle.
I intercepted this nectar of the goats thing, but I don't know what it is. It looks like it fits into some larger component. Can you use it?
Are you kidding? I'll treasure this.
Now that we have the device, we just need to select the right date in order to match it up. Why Spy Fox doesn't know which day it is beyond me. And why he can't simply ask is further beyond that. But we can at least find a way to work it out. The cantina is offering a Sunday special today, so that's which day of the week it is. And the boat from earlier shows which day and which month are needed. With that, Spy Fox can work his way into Kid's fortress. And that's the first path. It's by far the longer of the two, but now we'll need to rewind to the beginning as we take on... Like I said, this is the shorter path of the game, and has a different set of puzzles to solve. Whether or not you can take this path depends on whether you see the two boats. If Drydock isn't present, you'll be on this one. There are some constants between the two though. You still need to acquire the invitation from the salesman. I didn't mention this before, but his name is Gilbert, by the way. I wonder if he was named after Ron. This time on the ship we'll be focusing on Russian Blue. We do get one clue about her, that she loves to tango. Spy Fox is also clearly very into this. Meow. You also get a conversation topic about her when you talk to her for the first time. And if you ask Monkeypenny about her, she'll give you some background on that darn cat and her tango-related transgressions.
Known criminal record. Indecent tangoing. Charges dropped. Dancing with intent to tango. Charges dropped. Drinking and tangoing. Charges dropped. Tangoing out of season. Charges dropped.
Is tango a crime in this universe? I have many questions. Still, at this point, you're given a literal bug to place on Blue by the name of, Walter Wireless.
You're goddamn right.
We'll need to get some tango going on this ship. The waltz currently going on just isn't cutting it for this kitty cat. Luckily, there's another musician who isn't enjoying his current genre, which happens to be tango. And if you're sneaky, you can do a little swap, which brings the tango on deck. Whenever Russian Blue hears the tango, she loses all control. She simply can't help but tango. However, the player is given some control in this segment, and the bug can be slipped into her handbag.
I love to tango, but now I must attend to some important business.
Thank you for the divine tango, Miss Blue.
We also have business to attend to. Following that cat. After Walter Wireless is compromised, we, once again, although still technically for the first time, need to meet with Marta Harry. This time, she's in a pipe, and offers Fox a code phrase to use.
All right, let's hear it.
It goes like this. The skinny, sad dog.
What a curious phrase.
So the code phrase is based on that one Futurama episode. Got it. The team have procured a car for Spy Fox now, so the chase begins. This segment is a puzzle where you pretty much just have to click on the right path, as indicated by this radar here. If you don't click on the correct one, or if you're too slow, you'll end up back where you started. It's not difficult, you just have to pay a small modicum of attention. Eventually, you'll be led to some ruins. And Walter Wireless is there to tell us that Russian Blue went through a passageway here, before he heads off to safety.
I need to bug out of here. She mentioned something about an exterminator, and I don't have my gas mask.
Yes, you'd better get going. Thanks for your help, Walter.
My pleasure.
The door to these ruins includes another puzzle. For this one, you need to enter a code using the hieroglyphics on the door, and there are several words to use.
White.
At this point, you only need to enter the code phrase given to you. Skinny, sad dog. And we're in. Not before one last puzzle though. There's a mode with some snapping turtles here, so we'll need to find a way across. Spy Fox can't simply climb over, but there is another gadget which can help. Suction cup cufflinks. You do still need to avoid the waterfalls from above, but it's not difficult once you know how to do it. And boom, there's the other way into Kid's Fortress. Again, you'll notice that this second path is way quicker. I kinda prefer the other one, but I like how Russian Blue is more present in this one. Either way, the paths converge from here, and the game is the same from this point. Well, mostly. Kid's Fortress. We're in the belly of the beast now. Not that there's really any danger here, of course, this is a Humongous game, but we do need a henchman disguise to get past this sensor. Luckily, the locker room has one to pilfer, as well as a shortcut back to Acidophilus. This previously locked away office is also full of various paintings, which will be relevant later. But from here, Fox can sneak through and catch a liaison between William the Kid and Russian Blue.
Ms. Blue, take this piece of paper from the easel in my office. It has the location of the punch card written on it. You must destroy it. That punch card is the only thing that can disarm the milky weapon of destruction now.
Right away, your imperial goatness.
This is actually the last you see of Russian Blue, as she conducts her business and leaves. She's a bit of a loose end in this game, and she's not in any of the sequels either. But her story does continue in the Cheese Chase spin-off, so she doesn't just disappear entirely. No longer will she be tangoing at large. Anyhow, this duo explicitly say how to disarm the Milky Weapon, a punch card. This is one of the 3 potential items needed. In other playthroughs it could be a fuse or a key. Each item has different puzzles to solve in order to retrieve it. In order to progress further, there is also a puzzle involving reversing this conveyor belt using these levers, but the solution is written on the wall of the locker room, so boom. I love how Fox stands in such a static way even when in action. It looks so funny sometimes. From here you can use this little monorail car to get around Kid's base. Now here's where the randomization kicks in, so some of the puzzles and areas here can be vastly different. It all depends on the item you need. In another playthrough, you might need to play with a light in order to get a guard away from his post. But we'll just focus on what I got for this particular playthrough, the punch card puzzles. Kid mentioned the easel in his office, so we'll need to be in there. Except there are 3 guards present.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, hello. I'm from the accounting office. I was asked to count all the offices.
This damn game, man, I swear to God. Still, this situation is perfect for another one of Quack's inventions, as one of the ones here is called the Spy Trap. It gets thrown down as a distraction, and up to 3 people can be caught in a net as it shoots out. Let's see what happens. Perfect.
You must be one dedicated accountant.
With access to Kid's office, we also have access to his easel, as well as his variously coloured chalks. For other playthroughs, this is just a fun thing to draw on. But here, there's a hidden message. Rubbing chalk on paper for a hidden message is always a pretty fun puzzle in adventure games. And here we're told the name of a painting, as well as 3 colours. How curious. The only other place we've seen paintings is this office shortcut. So if we track down the Mona Gota and input the colour code, we'll find a safe. And once again, there's a gadget for this. The Cheese and Safe Cracker. I know, it's silly. I love it. I especially love how it's like one of those Dairy lunchbox sort of things as well. That's just cute. The crackers tell you how to get into the safe. But in here are several punch cards. If only we knew which one we needed, but oh, we do. Remember when we looked inside Udderly? Good times. But the answer was in there. So now we just have to take this L so that Kid can take his L, if you catch my drift. Of course, Kid ain't too happy about this one.
And it is not over yet, my foxy nemesis. When I pull this lovely lever, the cow stables will become completely flooded with milk. And that will be the end of the dairy world as we know it.
He's gonna drown all the cows in milk? What a monster. Looks like Spy Fox will have to stop him. In his haste to escape, Kid leaves behind a clue to a secret door in his base, as some fabric gets caught in it, and it's pretty easy to track down as it's hidden in this billboard. Goat milk? Oh, good grief. Kid did put up one more henchman to stop Fox though. This master of a type of martial arts called Cock-a-doodle-foo. Oh man. Also, I think he's meant to sound like Arnie.
Hello there, puny puppy-like creature. You're probably intimidated by my rippling muscles.
Either way, we're given a conversation topic about this martial art. And luckily, I know just the gal for the job. Bea Bear, as it turns out, used to practice this art herself.
Well, I dabbled in a professional career as a cock-a-doodle-foo fighter for a few years. Everything I learned came from a book.
What a queen. The book she hands you tells you all the moves you need to know and their responses. Just make sure to pay close attention, some of them are kind of similar, but if you can figure out the right response...
What happened?
This is also one of the randomized puzzles, by the way. In another playthrough, I had to feed some crocodiles. There really is a lot of replay value in this one. It's a short game, but it can go many different ways. Still, now we can reach the dairy cows and pull a lever to save them from a milky fate. Now, did you know that this game has a quote-unquote bad ending? It's true. Once you save the cows and see Kid's blimp fly off, if you don't immediately click the truck, the game ends.
If only I could have brought that dastardly William the Kid to justice.
I'm confident that you'll nab that villain next time. 3 cheers for Spy Fox.
You may have saved the day, but Kid still roams free. I discovered this by accident because I was distracted while recording this cutscene. I had no idea. But we're not settling for a bad ending, of course not. We have a license to click. And I'm gonna click on this truck, and then click on this ramp.
This'll eject me right onto Kid's blimp. Yes.
Once Fox makes it to the blimp, there's one more check-in with Monkeypenny.
We've already set up a mobile evil villain jail.
Monkeypenny, do you have the coordinates for the evil villain jail?
I love that it's just called Evil Villain Jail. I feel like even the tone the voice actors go for here, they just know it's a stupid name. This is a genuinely funny game, even if you're older than the target audience. But hey, we've got the coordinates for this jail, we just have to put them in the system. And our last perusal of items leads us to a screwdriver, always a handy tool to have.
You never know when you might need to drive some screws somewhere.
Also a stale piece of rye bread. Why not, I guess. There's no easy way through to the front of the blimp, so Fox needs to use a tiny little plane, but here we are. And Kid hasn't seen us yet, so let's be a fox. A spy fox. This robot here is a navigator, so we'll just slip in those coordinates. Perfect. And we can use the ejector seat to launch Kid exactly where we want him. And since that operates on a toast-based system, no joke, it's pretty easy to unscrew the front and slap in our rye bread.
I just thought I'd toast your accomplishment before you go.
Go? What do you mean by that? No! No!
Too bad there was only one parachute. Ooh, that looked painful.
And there we have it. Spy Fox in dry cereal. The villain imprisoned, the day saved, the milk unspoiled, the Prime Minister's hand shaken, but not stirred.
You'll pay for this. I'll be back. No jail can hold William the Kid. No.
It's clear why Humongous Entertainment cemented themselves in the childhoods of many people. These games are just solidly made. It's a simple, fun, and easy to understand take on the adventure game genre, while still feeling like a story with stakes. You know, it's no wonder these resonated so much, and on top of that, this one, like many of the others, had a lot of replay value. I mentioned the 2 different paths as well as all the different puzzles you can run into here. And like I said before, this game is funny. It has a lot of terrible puns, sure, but if you go for that sort of thing, you'll love this. It just doesn't take itself too seriously and simply chooses to have fun. And as a result, I think the audience has fun too. Maybe at some point I'll look at the 2 sequels as well. Hell, they even tease that idea a bit in this game.
But what about the sequel?
There are other supervillains out there. We'll be fine.
If those come up, we'll know who to call.
Fox. Spy Fox.